Welcome to Conversations with Dr. Skip Mason,
pastor, preacher, historian, author,
teacher, librarian, archivist, world traveler,
collector, family historian, avid reader, and creator of the popular Vanishing Black Atlanta Facebook page.
But a lot of folks who love history.
Most importantly, he's our dad who loves his family and who taught us the importance of our history and having important conversations.
Join him now for this episode of Conversations with Dr. Skip.
Good Sunday afternoon, my brothers and sisters. You can't see my face yet because you have this beautiful logo for this very special group that I'm going to be bringing up in just a moment. The wonderful, active, and engaged leadership of the Connectional Youth Ministry. I'm so excited. And they are here with the advisors, general secretary. And so we're going to have a wonderful discussion. They've been doing a whole lot. Every time I look up, there's a new posting, a new flyer, the youth leader of the month. They're doing all kinds of events and activities. And so I'm excited and looking forward to having a discussion with them. So invite folks to join us. Text your youth in your church and say they need to tune in and watch the leadership that they've elected to get an update of the things that they're doing. Let me first acknowledge God for this opportunity to come before you each Sunday at 5 o'clock. Let me acknowledge our senior bishop, Lawrence Reddick, and Mrs. Wendy Jones Reddick, and Bishop James B. Walker, chair of the College of Bishops, and the Distinguished College of Bishops and their spouses. Bishop Walker is also the chair of the CTI committee. Let me also acknowledge my bishop, Bishop Thomas Lewis Brown, Sr., and Dr. Louise Baker Brown. I appreciate their support, and Dr. Teresa Duhart, who always makes it happen. There's so much going on in our church. We're getting ready for the anniversary. The 151st anniversary of the CME Church is coming up in a couple of weeks. And so I'm going to have to change the name of the show from CME150 to CME151. And I'm excited about that. And we have a special program planned for the Sunday after the actual anniversary. But right now, let me bring these wonderful people that many of you know to the screen so that you can meet them, hear from them, and so that they can share all of the great things that they are doing today, not only today, but that they do all the time. We have Dr. Carmichael Crutchfield. Dr. Crutchfield is the General Secretary of Christian Education and Formation. He has been on this show before as well. Let me also introduce Mr. Cameron Kukendoll. Mr. Cameron Kukendoll represents the 1st Episcopal District. Let me recognize, and I hope I pronounce his name, Damarion. Did I get it right?
Damarion, you had it close.
Okay, Damarion. Okay, I'm going to get it right. But Damarion represents the 7th Episcopal District. I certainly can pronounce this young lady's name because I was her pastor for about 7 years. Hannah Rhodes represents the 6th Episcopal District. And so glad to have her. And Cheyanne King is here with us representing the 9th District. And certainly last but not least, a young lady that I just don't think she sleeps at night. You all know Reverend Cyreeta Collins, who's the director of the Connectional Youth Ministry. I am so glad to have you all here today. I'm going to start with you, Dr. Crutchfield, and unmute yourself and just tell us, for anybody who's watching for the first time or may not be familiar with the work of the Connectional Youth Ministry, talk about this group. We're going to have them talk specifically about some things that they do, but tell us about the importance of this group as it relates to the church.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Mason, and to all of those that are viewing today. Um, let me just say, several years ago, I can't remember exactly the year, but it was during the term of my predecessor, the deceased Bishop Ronald Cunningham. We went to this place of making sure that we had representation across the Connectional Church. In years past, we elected a president for the youth and young adult for youth ministry, and that person was the leader. But the visionary work of then the Dr. Ronald Cunningham, and I had the pleasure of working with him during that time, saw the need to add and to change that, and so that we might have a representation across the connection. And then move into a place of actually electing a president of the vice presidents, if you will, who would give leadership. Well, I have continued to work in that vein since I've been general secretary. And each 4 years, we have built and made it stronger and stronger and stronger. For instance, after the 2016 Connectional Youth and Young Adult Conference, I brought all of the vice presidents from across the connection to Memphis to engage with the history of the CME Church in Tennessee, with all of the facets of that history. And they began to gain more knowledge about the CME Church. Well, of course, 2020, we continued 2021. Of course, we couldn't have it in 20, so we had in 21. We elected this great group of young people, and the church did. And we used a great mechanism of electing them. Reverend Collins, with her vision, started a leadership academy prior to the Youth and Young Adult Conference. And all of these young people were a part of that leadership academy. And so when we went to the Youth and Young Adult Conference, they were put before their Episcopal districts as people, as candidates to be elected as vice presidents for their Episcopal districts. All of them were elected, and they jumped off right off the bat, started working, and Reverend CC has been working with them weekly with many, many things, and I'll let them tell all about what they're doing. But the thing I wanted to say to you, Dr. Mason, is that at one of their first meetings, I challenged them to lead the CME Church in a youth explosion. Because I want in 2024 for us to increase in a large amount the number of youth attending the 2024 youth conference. And I know that we need some time to build that, and they've been working to do just that. All of this work they're doing is building for this youth explosion. And I am convinced that in 2024, we're going to see something we haven't seen before. And it's all because of the hard work of the leadership of Reverend Cyreeta Collins and the hard work of these vice presidents. I've had the great opportunity to meet with them on a couple of occasions virtually. Such a talented group. They're so talented that I'm scheduling them to give a training to the directors of Christian education of the Episcopal Districts in technology. They are extremely talented, but more than talented, they have tremendous energy, tremendous creativity, and innovation. And I am just pleased to have the opportunity to work with them. And I look forward to the time during this quadrennium of bringing this group to Memphis, because I understand the importance of them connecting to our history and understanding the founding of the church and all of those kinds of things. And so I'm looking forward just when we get the right window, they're coming to Memphis. And then lastly, let me say this: there's a fundraiser going on now, again under the visionary leadership of Reverend Collins, of course, which I'm supporting. Is that we want all of these young people to be at General Conference.
I was going to ask you if that was going to happen. Yeah.
So we're working. There's a fundraiser going on now to help make that happen, and we're just excited about it. And I want to say to these young people that are here now, these youth that are here, thank you and kudos for the work you're doing. I am just pleased with you, what you're doing, and blessings and blessings and blessings upon you and upon all of the people who have made it possible, who have been the leaders in your local churches, your parents and others who have put you in a position where you now can help lead other youth. And I am just delighted to say that to them. Dr. Skip Mason, I don't want to talk more than that. I really want to hear from them because they're the stars of the show.
Well, we had to open up with you, Dr. Crutchfield, and kudos to you because you've had to lead like everyone else during a pandemic and to reschedule, and to create this wonderful hybrid experience that so many of us witnessed, which brought this leadership that we have today. So thank you for your leadership. Let us know also how we can help when you start your fundraiser, if you've not already started it, because I know pastors that certainly would support, making sure that we get our youth leadership to the General Conference in 2022. Reverend CC, thank you, Dr. Crutchfield. And it's interesting that they got this gold background and I have purple lettering, all the wrong colors for me today, okay? On the day after Alpha's founded day. I know you would appreciate the colors, Dr. Crutchfield, but promise you it was not planned.
Yeah. Well, just think of it as Advent.
See, that's why you're our General Secretary. Reverend CC, so glad to have you on and to have these wonderful leaders. Tell us about the work that is going on. And then I'm going to ask you, to present them. And we want to hear about some of the things that you're doing, because one of the things that I have, and certainly you can talk about it, is so many events. Every time you look up, there's a flyer, there's an event going on. And this is just absolutely amazing. They're doing the work, they're planning events and activities. You have a whole calendar and you're putting it out there for people. So we want to talk about the events, and then we want to talk about the idea for creating these Youth of the Month. And this is for November. And let us know, are you going to be doing this every month?
Yes.
So I'm going to ask you to just tell us about this wonderful group and the work that you all are doing, and then you will present them to us, okay?
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Mason, for allowing us this opportunity to be on your show and tell about all the amazing things we have going on. I do actually get sleep, contrary to popular opinion, but I'm just really passionate about the work of the Connectional Youth Ministry. As many people probably know, I started off as a VP on the connectional level when Dr. Crutchfield talked about the change. It was in 1988 when I was elected a youth VP from the 7th Episcopal District in Louisville, Kentucky. And so since then, I've been involved on the connectional level. I'm excited about what's going on. We have some amazing group of young people. As Dr. C said, every 4 years, it just gets better with what we have. But this year, I just wanted to kind of make sure that we had the right people, since we weren't going to be able to meet in person. And so God gave me this vision of a leadership academy, which is I lead. And so we had 3 months of training. It was supposed to be every other week, but once they got started, they really liked each other and the chemistry was there. And so we began to meet every week for 3 months consecutively. And so from that group, each one of these young people were there, and it was so amazing. The skill set that they all bring to the table is amazing. So I'll introduce the ones that are here today. We actually have a complete 9, but Cameron Kukendoll represents the 1st Episcopal District. He is amazing. Cameron is our go-to for everything. He becomes our social media person. He is super excited. You have the other one, so I'll do the 2nd Episcopal District is Shekinah Patterson. The 3rd Episcopal District is Chloe Gomes. The 4th Episcopal District is Christiana Lawson. The 5th Episcopal District is Kennedy Simpson. The 6th Episcopal District, she's on the show today. That's Miss Hannah Rhodes. The 7th is Dr. Damarion King. The 8th Episcopal District is Miguel Myers. And the 9th Episcopal District is Cheyanne King. This amazing group of people, each one of them brings something to the table. And I have to say, I have been blessed by their leadership of leading the youth ministry of the CME Church. And Dr. C is right. He challenged them back in right after they got elected in July about doing something, making sure this explosion happened. So we talked about it, and just began to share. And there goes 5G, right? That was our 5G experience, our 5 hours. And I'll let any of them share about what that experience was like with 5G.
Anybody jump in?
Yeah, the 5G youth experience. Now, talk about a pre-explosion. It was an amazing event. So we had over 5,000 people watch it total. So 5,000 youth that probably we've never reached before. So that's just the beginning of our explosion. But then also including everybody across the connection is just one amazing way that we get to show that the youth are we are the generation that's now. Not later, but now. And that's just one of the great things that the 5G youth experience showed.
Anybody else want to jump in and talk about your experience with the explosion and 5G?
It really was. I know we were up until 11 o'clock at night. I mean, Reverend C said went to bed, actually, believe it or not. But while we talk about her sleep schedule, but we were up to about 11. And we just kept working. We designed the logo that night. We said, we got the scripture. We said what we wanted to do. And we really wanted to be youth geared, youth led, youth promoted. We really wanted to be a youthful event. And I was just so excited the way it came out. It was supposed to be an hour per time zone, but people stayed on for the whole 5 hours. Wow. We had a lot of great participation. So I loved how it came out.
That's amazing. Anybody else want to share?
It was a great experience, and it was just very just awesome that everybody joined, and it was so many youth, and not even just youth, it's also older people, so they see what we created, and it was great that we created it, and not we had help from Reverend Cece, but it was good that we did it, and we did it on our own. It was
That's great. That's great. Hannah, what about you?
It was a really good and inspiring experience. I really like how everyone. I really liked seeing all the different people coming on. It was really cool. So I enjoyed the experience.
I'm sure. And so as we thought we were moving and things were getting better, getting vaccinated and booster shots and all of that, and we've learned how to do hybrid events, social media, and now Omicron has come, which is the second half of this conversation. It appears that the ability to manage and maneuver with technology is here to stay. Okay. And obviously you all are game changers with that. But let's get into what you're doing individually in some of your areas. And let's talk about the work that you're doing, what you have planned coming up. You have a whole lot of things, events. Let me put this calendar up again, and let me find my little Dollar Tree reader glasses so I can see. But you got God's Minute, Gaming with Friends, Friday Lights, game nights, and Stronger Together. I mean, just tell us. Let's start. We'll start with you, Cameron, since you represent the first, and then we'll hear from the rest of you. Tell us about what you have planned, particularly for this month.
Well, thank you, Dr. Mason. And yes, bringing greetings from what I think is the best district. Damarion would disagree with me, and Reverend CC would too. But me and Dr. Crutchfield's district, First Episcopal District. Here I am.
You can tell he's under the tutelage of Reverend Presiding Elder Lester. You can tell that. But go ahead.
All right now, Dr. Mason. We really here in the First District, I'm just trying to work with all of our youth, work for all our Christian educators. I've been reaching out to them. How can we involve our youth more? how can we elevate them is really my thing. How can we put them in these leadership positions? How can we do more for our youth? And out of this, as we were planning this whole CYM Spirit Month, what we're doing in this Episcopal District will be the Stronger Together Youth Experience. That throughout COVID, throughout 2020, 2021, we've had to recognize that we are stronger together. So we'll have this event. It'll be next Sunday, December the 12th at 2 p.m. We'll have engaging speakers. We'll have 2 speakers. They'll take 10 minutes. It'll be short. We'll have liturgical dance. We'll have singing. We'll have games. We'll have even prize giveaways. We're giving away a $50, $25, and $15 gift card when we play our game. So I'm here. I just want to bring the youth together. You know, Reverend Cece, as we're doing this youth explosion, we're trying to reach the youth, see how many youth we have, find the youth that are in our Episcopal districts. So as we do that, this is a way for us to all come together, all fellowship one another, have some live engagement. And it's also a way for me to see what do they want out of this ministry. It's not about me. I'm just here to represent them. So I want to see what do they want to do in the youth ministry and what does it look like to them.
And I'm going to ask you all, after you tell us a little bit about what you're doing and what you're having planned, how has the engagement been? How has the participation? And are you getting the participation that you like? Do we need to have our pastors and directive Christian education and CYF leaders be more engaged? So you can tell us a little bit about that. Thank you so much, Cameron. Let's see. We'll go to Mr. King. Well, actually, Hannah, you go next, representing the 6th Episcopal District. Mm-hmm. Tell us about what you have planned for this month as well.
What I have planned for this month is basically I wanted the youth to come together, and I wanted them to engage. I'm finalizing this youth event that's happening Saturday, December 18th at 3 p.m. It's our New Level, New Legacy virtual youth event based on Jeremiah chapter 29. The goal of New Level, New Legacy is to bring youth in the 6th district together for music, prayer, and games as a way to grow ministry in the 6th district within the connection of the CME Church.
Excellent. I like that title of that. Thank you so much. Mr. King, tell us a little bit about what's going on in the 7th Episcopal District.
Yeah, what's going on in the best Episcopal District there is the PJs and prayer party. Now. The PJs and prayer party, it is exactly what it is. We're going to have all the youth come and wear PJs, and we're going to party it up. So we're going to have different competitions. We're going to have games where you can win prizes. We're going to have a contest. So we're going to have a pajama contest. We're going to have a cookie contest. We're going to have different contests that gets us engaged and fun. Then we're going to have one speaker. We're just going to speak a little bit on the importance of being united together in this PJs and prayer party. Then we're going to have dance, we're going to carol, and we're just going to have as much fun in the PJs and prayer party happening December 17th. So not this Friday, but the Friday after next. So make sure you register. Yeah.
Awesome. And Ms. King, tell us what you have planned for the 9th Episcopal District.
My event is called Cozy Night with the 9th, and this will be taking place on December 19th. With this event, I wanted all of you to just come together and have a fun time with games, and we're going to collectively watch a movie. And then at the end of my event, I'll be asking the youth if they would like anything like better, if I could do anything better, or if they would like to be more involved, because that's what this whole event is pretty much about, everyone getting involved. And yeah, that's my whole event.
And so the date again, what's the date for that event?
On the flyer it said December 3rd, but there is some minor inconveniences. So now it's on December 19th.
Okay, on December 19th. Excellent. So now let's talk a bit about the participation. You know, how has the participation been for you all? Are you able to reach out to your fellow CYM members at various churches? And how has the response been so far? Anybody can jump in.
I think the participation right now, it's slow, but it's steadily growing.
Okay.
So I think as far as reaching out to more churches is something that we are doing, and we're hoping that churches are letting their youth know about the different events that we have on. But that's just one of the many barriers that we have. How can we connect? How can we connect to youth more? How can we connect to these to the youth, the pastors, the youth leaders at the different local churches? And how can we get youth engaged and make sure they register for our events?
Excellent. And of course, this is a message from Dr. Teresa Duhart, who just does so much and makes so many things happen. But she said CIT will partner with the CYM ministry and you to assist with our technology. That is good to hear, because that's how we reach them. Now, anybody else? How's the participation looking for Hannah? For Miss Rhodes, I'm so used to calling you Hannah. Miss Rhodes, how's the participation looking for you?
Same as Damarion, what he said, it's slow, but it's slowly growing.
Yeah.
Right now I feel like the participation is really good. People are engaging.
That's good. Yes. Yeah. Mr. Cameron, what about you? How's the participation looking?
Really, it's going a little, as to state after my colleagues, really going a little bit slow, but I'm trying to send out more emails, send out more texts, send out more Facebook posts. I know you know that I'm always posting on Facebook. But I think even when we had our meeting, we all talked about it. We're just trying to be repetitive with it. So we're sending out multiple emails, sending out multiple texts so that we can get people to register for the event. And to what you said earlier about the pastors, the Christian educators, it's going to take everybody to help us reach as many as possible. So we really need help from everybody. All the Christian educators, all the CYF, everybody, at least inviting one person, that makes the difference.
Is that the same for you, Miss Cheyanne, as well?
Yes, it is. Everything is slow, but it's actually growing. Like it's steady growing. So maybe it just takes a little bit of time, but I feel like over time it'll be where we want it to be.
So are you all using, because all of you all are experts on social media. I know you are. You can't tell me you don't know how to work Instagram and Snapchat. I guess they still do that. Facebook, because it's amazing, what you see on Instagram and what you put out, what can be put out. So are you utilizing those forms to reach the people that are in your area? Do any of you all have district Instagram accounts? How are you using social media to get your word out?
So right now, the 7th, we don't have a youth Instagram account. We're going to be working on that, but we do have a Connectional account that we are posting on, and then we're posting on our personal accounts. It's just, even when we post on social media, it's about how do we get the youth to actually see how to follow us. So it's going to be hard for me on the East Coast to connect with somebody on the West Coast. Okay. So even if we do post on our social media, it's just that how are we getting the information to tell them to follow us on social media?
Right. Anybody else using social media? I mean, I know you, Mr. Cam, you are quite active on social media. But
you're trying to sugarcoat it.
Right. And my point that I'm trying to make, Dr. Crutchfield and Reverend CC, is that we really we need to be speaking to you pastors, about how to reach those within this age group. Right. We don't tend to, and as it has been stated so many times, we tend not to reach the ones that we need to reach. Right. And so we're dependent on our, you vice presidents and leaders to help us, and to guide us in that as well. And so these events will take place. Tell us about the youth leader of the month, how that works, how those persons. I think you have the youth leader, and I believe you have, if I think I saw correctly, maybe an advisor Let me see if I can find that picture.
Yeah, that's one right there.
There's one. Yeah, right. So tell us how these persons are selected. And I'm assuming it's one per district each month.
Yeah, so when we talked about it, I generally go back to them, and we first of all we meet a lot.
Right.
But what we started trying to figure out is how do we actually get to the young people? And so one of the reasons for coming up with Spirit Month is just that. So if we have an explosion, in order to get an explosion across the church, we're going to have to start little fires, right? That's going to be able to catch and continue on. So each one of them are having an event in the month of December. And so with that, we're asking young people to register for the event. We have on our website, which was designed by Cameron and Damarion. I have to say, that amazing website. They are amazing. And so we are able to capture the email addresses for young people, and then we'll move forward with continuing to reach them. What's happening right now is as we send information out, because we cannot get our hands on the young people,
right,
it's kind of sitting in an adult's email address or their Facebook page. And so all we're asking is that you would simply just share the information with one or two young people. Let them connect with us. We have plenty of opportunities for people to join our team. We're starting our student leadership team, which is going to help these 9. But we need to actually get our hands on young people. So in each one of the events, we have control of the registrations. After this is over, we'll then have a meeting. We'll take that information, and then our VPs will move forward with being able to contact them. But one of the things that they've been doing is all of them are modest. They didn't even tell you how many times they've had to have meetings with their Episcopal district.
Yeah.
Each one of them have a youth team.
Yeah.
We also I have one-on-ones with them just to make sure that they're on task for what they have to do. And so they're developing their teams, which are then going to help us to reach more people. And the goal is really that as young people are engaged, so each event is youth designed, youth planned, and youth executed. It's all about them. And I'm hoping that once young people are a part of these teams and they're meeting, that then they'll begin to say, well, wait a minute, if we did this on a connectional level, maybe we can do this in our region, or maybe we can do this in our presiding elder district, or maybe we can do this at a church. A lot of times we say we don't have a lot of youth. We do have youth, but are we reaching them? That's the question. Or are we having things that they would like to be a part of? So even like today, this afternoon, this evening, the 4th Episcopal District is having a gaming with friends. And so that's something that young people like, right? They planned it. In the second, we're having a paint, poetry, and sip party, something that they planned and that they like. And so if we could just get people to help us to connect with young people, that would be it'd be like music to my ears if we could just get them to help us connect with them, and then let these amazing young people continue the relationship to keep it going.
I totally agree. One of the first things that I've done, I was at Trinity for 7 years as pastor. First thing I did, I said, I need everybody's cell phone number. And I got those cell phone numbers. I did the same thing at West Mitchell, because there's no easier and quicker way to communicate to members. You know, I mean, I have an efficient church administrator, but I need to be able to send a text to a member or to send a group text, you know, and I don't do those group Thanksgiving texts and Christmas texts. They already know I wish them a happy Thanksgiving and a Merry Christmas. But if I need to get information that perhaps someone is ill or a church meeting, you know, and so I'm sure they already know that, but you just, you know, come on, directors of Christian education and pastors and all, collect the numbers and contact and get it to your leaders so that they can reach out to them, because sometimes it may be that you reach out to the pastor has good intentions, you know, to follow up, you know, or to pass it on, and somewhere it gets lost in translation. Someone asked about, before that, because we had invited Bishop Brown, of course, who's the Episcopal leader over this great ministry. But Bishop is traveling. He just sent me a text, and we had a great winter council yesterday. But I knew he had a mortgage burning today. But he sends his regards and tremendous support and respect for the great work that you all are doing. So I wanted to make sure you got that message.
Dr. Mason, if I might.
Yes, please, General Secretary Crutchfield.
Yes, I'm glad that hear from my chair, Bishop Brown, and without a doubt, one of the greater supporters of the work of Christian education and formation the church has, and therefore he supports all aspects of it, including the youth ministry. And but I also wanted to add two things that we're doing. Again, we're working hard on organization, working hard to use the organization of the Christian Methodist Episcopal Church to really make this youth explosion happen. So the church has directors of Christian education from East Episcopal District.
Okay.
They are invited, and most of them are attending the the CYM meetings so that they can get engaged in what's happening. We are working hard with youth leaders across the denomination, which is somewhat challenging because we don't always identify youth leaders as youth leaders. But at the last CYYAC, we had a special track of teaching for youth leaders because we know that it's important that we have this leadership in these local churches, especially. So these are some things that we're doing and really trying to be organized and using the organization as discipline outlines it to do what we need to do to make youth ministry explode. And so I'm excited again about what's happening with these young people, and they're just scratching the surface. It's only been a few months that they've been elected, and they've done so much in these few months.
No, they have really just hit the ground running, and kudos to you all, and kudos to them and the support of their parents as well, certainly, which allows them to do the things that they do. I want to put up, someone asked about the 5th Episcopal District, so let me put up again some of the flyers, maybe for the ones that are not represented, and they can see what's going on. And I don't know whether they're in a particular order. I think we did discuss the Cold Night with the Night. That's a cute title. We have Stronger Together Youth Experience. This is with the First Episcopal District. That's Sunday, December 12th. And then we have New Level, New Legacy. Love that. This is the 6th Episcopal District. That's on the
18th.
Okay, the 18th. Then we have PJs and Prayer Party. Lord have mercy, that should be quite interesting. On Friday, December 17th, games, contests, prizes, and more. All right, and then we have this is the 3rd 3D Friday game night, which is December the 10th, 5 to 6 Central Time. And I think with all of these, you can go to www.CME.org events. Let me see what else we have here. We have the Jesus Jam. Here you go, the 5th Episcopal District, the fabulous flourishing 5th, as Bishop Jefferson Norton loves to say. The Jesus Jam, and the date, I think, is December the 18th as well. All of these flyers on the website?
They are. We have an events page.
Okay.
And so, and this is the 4th Episcopal District. Theirs is tonight at 7 Eastern. They're having Gaming with Friends. And then we also have the 2nd Episcopal District. There we go. Paint, Poetry, and Sip. And so when you go to our event page on our website, you'll be able to register for any of the events. And so that was the winner. So we did a thing a couple of days ago just to try to drum up our support, getting people to know it. And so I think it's Aaliyah McKenzie won we gave her a $20 gift card for just registering. So we're having a good time.
That is
it's important that we reach our young people. And so some people have registered for all of the events, and that's fine too. We just don't want it to be full with adults. So we still need everyone to help us get these young people connected with us. All of their email addresses are on our website under leadership, I believe this is the page. And so you'll see all of the pictures underneath is their email addresses, but each one of them is their first initial, their last name at the CMEchurch.org.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can go there, you can connect with any of them. And we did that. We wanted to make sure that our young people were safe as they do ministry in the church.
Sure.
And so you can only reach them through their CME email address. And some of them are now in the process of getting Google phone numbers so that you can reach them that way. So we can also protect them as they do ministry in the church. Like some of them are 13, 14, 15 years old. And so we just want to make sure that they are protected while they do ministry in the church. So you also asked us about CYM Salutes.
Yes.
That is our Youth of the Month, Youth Leader of the Month. Again, another way for us to celebrate the outstanding work that young people are doing. It's not based on academics. It's based on service. And then we're also celebrating youth leaders. So people can nominate. The nominations for December are open from the 1st through the 15th. You can go to, you see that the email is, the website. Again, everything that we're doing is on our website. Again, that's www.cmecym.org. And that's /CYM Salutes. The window is open that you can nominate an outstanding young person. Each person can only do one youth and one youth leader. Mm-hmm. But once we get it, we look at them. Our VP selected the first batch. And then from there, we will have public voting, where just like they do in school, public voting for the youth. But it's also helping us to get in touch with youth leaders and young people, which is another thing that, again, to just support the work that we're doing to get them together.
That is fantastic. Well, I want to allow you all to give any final closing thoughts, any charge or challenges that you like to say to the church as it relates to the support of the Connectional Youth Ministry. And certainly, I know that each of you are hopefully looking forward to coming to the General Conference. And I don't know whether it'll be your first time, but seeing how the church operates in a, in a General Conference. And we may be electing bishops as well. And certainly you want, our next Episcopal leaders to be as engaged, if not already, with the activities of the youth. And also we'll take, and let me acknowledge too, and he's actually going to be, I think, in my second segment. Let me put Brother Cam back up here. Make sure I have everybody. But we want to certainly acknowledge Senior Bishop Reddick, who is a weekly watcher and supporter of this show, as well as so many of the other bishops that I'm not able to sometime identify. But looking forward to transitioning shortly as we talk about the vaccine, the vaccination. And let me ask you all, where are you all on that as youth leaders? Have any of you been vaccinated yet? Do you plan to? And is there going to be an effort coming from the youth CYM, to encourage vaccination from your vantage point, for this age group? Anybody want to share?
I'll share first.
Okay.
I am completely vaccinated, and I just got my booster on Friday. And so I'm definitely supportive of it. Some of our youth have been vaccinated, some have not. Some of them participated when the young adults did the connectional vaccination drive. They participated with that. And so we haven't completely identified with that as far as like a campaign that we're going to do, because we have a couple of other things that are kind of lined up that's going to help us to connect more with young people. But we're definitely supportive of it. Absolutely.
That's great. That is great. So any final thoughts, closing thoughts? And I'll hear from the vice president, and then Dr. Crutchfield, I'll let you have the final say for this particular segment. But don't go away, because we're going to have some continue this roundtable discussion with the Connectional Young Adult Ministry. Any of you all have any closing thoughts?
Yeah. So I encourage all local churches to connect with their youth in ways in unorthodox ways. Move into the 21st century. It's time to evolve so we don't dissolve. So I just encourage you to move into the 21st century and connect and think outside of the box.
Mr. King, how old are you?
I'm 16 years old.
I think I must have been 22 before I understood what unorthodox means. Look at our youth. I tell you the truth. I tell you, we got some smart ones in this church. Thank you. That I appreciate you sharing that. Brother Cam.
Damarion, all I'm gonna say is about that. That's a word from on high. Amen, somebody. But to piggyback off what he said, please reach your youth. Allow them to be involved. Allow them to actively participate in worship and teach them and reach them in the way that they want to be reached, in the way they want to be taught. That way that they are actually engaged. That way they're actually involved in ministry. I like what Reverend CC said earlier, that it's not that we don't have youth, it's just now how do we reach them? So now let's work together to reach the youth of our denomination. Thank you so much.
Amen.
Dr.
Thank you. Miss Hannah, Miss Cheyanne, any closing remarks?
Just like Damarion and Cameron said, I do also suggest that you reach out to your youth so we can grow our ministry and not, like Damarion said, dissolve it.
Excellent. Go ahead, Miss King.
I just want to say thank you for having us, number one. And also, I want everyone to just encourage the youth and to encourage them to have their ideas and to bring their new ideas to the church and don't discourage them so that don't make them feel bad about their ideas because it's not what you're used to.
Right.
So like we're doing right now, virtually, some people aren't really used to this. So it's okay to let our ideas be known, and maybe we can both work together so that we can still do what the church used to do, but we can also add our new ideas to it.
That is great. Thank you so much. Dr. Crutchfield, you get the final word.
Before Dr. C comes, can you show our giving flyer?
I wasn't able to
find it
up in time, but if you send it to me, Messenger, I can show it in the next segment.
Okay. Before Dr. C comes, again, thank you so much for having us here and
I didn't give you a chance to give your closing thoughts. I'm so
you
sorry.
You did not. It's okay.
My apologies.
It's
Go
okay.
Right ahead.
Thank you again for allowing us to share just a snippet of what we have going on over in the youth ministry world. We actually are having we're calling it's a leadership internship at the General Conference. And so student leaders are church leaders. We're developing them now to lead, not later. And so we're asking people to help us. It was not in Dr. C's budget when I first thought about it. So I don't want to put that pressure on him, but we need about $15,000 to bring our VPs to the General Conference. We are working on it. So our fundraising is going to start tomorrow, our giving drive, and you'll be able to Cash App, use PayPal, and also send checks to the Department of Christian Education, put in the subject line, CME CYM, so we can get our young people to the General Conference. I believe that our youth leaders, our youth who are in leadership, need to be at the largest gathering of leaders in the CME church. And I think once they understand what the church looks like from a larger perspective, how they fit into the church, it's about young people having a seat at the table. If anybody's ever heard me talk, I always share, we want to have seats at the table because these young people, this is just a snippet of what these young people can say and what they can do. But it's time that they have a seat at the table and begin to see that they too are a part of this church, not later, but even right now. And so if anyone can help us, support us, please, please, please do.
Send that to me so I can scroll it and we're going to claim it right here.
In the name of Jesus.
Get that $15,000. I'm going to cash out my $100 tomorrow.
Thank you so much. We do appreciate it.
We're going to ask preachers and lay and all to do that. The other Dr. CC. Dr. Crutchfield, give us your closing thoughts, please, sir.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Mason, again, for the opportunity to share it this way. Let me just say that along that line, we've already received a few donations for that effort, and certainly we are convinced it's going to happen. Awesome. Secondly, the department publishes a publication quarterly called Practitioner. We started in 2018. This winter quarter edition has several essays from our young people who wrote at the Youth and Young Adult Conference. And if people are not subscribing to the Practitioner, just send me an email. I'll tell you how to get hooked with that. It's our desire to help local churches to grow Christian education in the local church venue. The last thing I want to say is that we also have Connectional Youth and Young Adult Week, which begins the last Sunday in January through the first Sunday in February. Our theme is reconciling faith, and the bottom line is these young people and all of the other things they're doing, we're going to be teaching them the importance of reaching young people outside of a church. Yes. Young people who are not necessarily a part of their churches. So that's part of what this whole theme is about, the whole idea, the whole push. And it'll be taking our young people in a way they may not have gone before. But this is what we're doing. We're moving in new ways and with new vision and continuing to push ourselves into the 21st century as we should. I say finally, thank you to Cam, Damarion, Hannah, Cheyanne, and all of the other young people who are part of this, of our VPs, and a special thanks to Reverend CC for her leadership. Thank you, Dr. Mason, for the opportunity to share today.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Crutchfield and Reverend CC and Miss Cheyanne and Miss Hannah and Brother Damarion and Brother Cam. Thank you all so much. And we know we'll have you back sometime in the spring to catch up with you and to see what you're doing. So you all have a beautiful, blessed Sunday and blessed holidays. Well, I hope your events are filled to capacity. And I'm certainly pushing Hannah for our youth to be involved from the West Mitchell Street CME Church. So they've already been put on notice. You all take care, but don't go anywhere because we have Senior Bishop Lawrence Reddick coming, Dr. Richard Watkins, and some members of the Connectional Young Adult Ministry to talk about their campaign to make sure that you are aware that you need to be vaccinated. And so we thank each of you for tuning in. And I want you to watch this particular video at this time. And then I'm going to bring my special guest back up for what I think is a very important conversation. Take a look.
Tonight, the Omicron variant on the move, with cases detected in roughly 40 countries and at least 13 states in the U.S. Health officials warning expect the numbers to climb.
We are equipped and prepared to fight the Omicron variant head on.
Meanwhile, in South Africa, the first country to report cases of Omicron, infections are climbing. And scientists say the new variant is spreading twice as quickly as Delta. Hospitalizations are rising too. The World Health Organization says no one has died from Omicron, but that could just be a matter of time.
It takes time, unfortunately. When the incidence rate goes up, it takes a week or two for that to result in hospital admissions or deaths.
A new preliminary study suggests Omicron shares a genetic code with the common cold, making it more infectious. Experts warn not to take early research to mean the Omicron variant is a less dangerous form of COVID.
I think the jury's still out on that because the number of cases is low, and many of these mild cases were in younger individuals who tend to get milder COVID anyway.
Dr. Olaf Levy is a member of the FDA Vaccine Advisory Committee. He says scientists are combing through data on Omicron for answers on transmissibility, severity, and resistance to vaccines.
And that involves obtaining blood samples from people who have been immunized against coronavirus and or recovered from COVID, and testing those blood samples outside the body to test whether the antibodies in the blood are able to block, in a tissue culture dish, in a test tube, able to block this new Omicron variant. And those tests also will take another week or two to read out.
Do you think we might need a whole new vaccine altogether?
I hope not, right? But the jury is out. We're going to need that real world evidence.
And Kathy Park, not Monica Alba, joins us.
And so the CME Church, always on the cutting edge of information, providing information, began its campaign, CMEs Against COVID. Perhaps you've seen some of the pieces that have been done. Let me share this with you.
Are you vaccinated?
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 Are you vaccinated? I am Ramisha Walker Harrison, the director of the Connectional Young Adult Ministry for the Christian Methodist Episcopal Church. COVID-19 has impacted our community, from our aging boomers to our newborn babies. However, we have the power to change the trajectory of this pandemic. There are shots available, and all you have to do is go and get a shot. We are determined to save lives one shot at a time. We are CMEs Against COVID, determined to save lives one shot at a time. We are CMEs Against COVID, determined to save lives. We are CMEs Against COVID, saving lives one mask, one shot, one church at a time. Join us in our official campaign, CMEs Against COVID.
And so as we continue the roundtable discussion, we are delighted to have some special guests with us to talk about this campaign and also to talk about the need to be vaccinated. We have Dr. Richard Watkins, who is the founder and CEO of the Science Policy Action Network, Inc. We have our senior bishop, Lawrence L. Reddick, who is going to be joining us momentarily. And we have Reverend Leon Parker III, Dean at Miles College, and the Connectional Young Adult Ministry here. And I think we're expecting Ms. Kimberly Holliday, who is the Director of Laboratory Services, the John C. Steiners Memorial Hospital. Bishop Reddick, I see you in the room, but we don't see your video. So if you can turn that on and your audio, and then we'll bring you up. Okay, I think here's Bishop. Yeah, there he is. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And good evening to everyone. I'm so glad that you could be here with us today to have this conversation. Senior Bishop, tell us about the church's initiative, if you will, to inform its members and constituents about the importance of getting vaccinated and taking steps against COVID-19.
Thank you, Dr. Mason. Thank you for the last segment today, and thank you for this opportunity as well. This is an initiative we as the CMEs have done in cooperation with the Conference of National Black Churches, CNBC, which is comprised of several African-American denominations. The Conference of National Black Churches asked us to have a coordinator for the denomination and to also work with as many churches and church leaders as possible to make sure we are, let's say, making a good thrust for vaccination emphases and also doing things like startups for clinics and other things in the CME Church. That's what this is about.
That's great, Bishop. And so the church has commissioned these series of vignettes, videos from various leaders and personalities in the church. But I understand that the Connectional Young Adult Ministry has taken a special role in this as well.
They have. They came to us after one of our bishops approached them, and they came up with a program all their own that really went farther than the bishops were able to go, and had a different, shall I say, perspective and spin on it. And I found it very important for us.
Thank you, Bishop. And before we bring Dr. Watkins in, Dean Parker, the great dean at Miles College, and also the treasurer of the Connectional Young Adult Ministry. Tell us about the Connectional Young Adult Ministry's role and initiative in this effort, please.
Yes, sir, Dr. Mason. First of all, I just want to recognize Senior Bishop Lawrence Reddick and to thank the College of Bishops for partnering with us in this endeavor. We know that social media, we know that technology is very, very important. And so we went forward in a collaborative effort in launching a campaign, a vaccination campaign, encouraging members of our church as well as our communities in our neighborhoods, our colleges and institutions, and abroad to get vaccinated. We feel that that was something that was essential, especially during this season, to fight against the virus, and it was something that we can all participate in doing it. So collaborating with the Connectional Young Adult Ministry along with the College of Bishops has been something that we've been doing for the last few months, from commercial videos to roundtable discussions, FAQs, and a number of other things that we've done in collaboration. And it's been very successful.
Are we able to gauge through any numbers how we're doing as a church in terms of vaccinations throughout? I don't know whether bishops are collecting that kind of data. Do you have any ideas, Senior Bishop or Dean Parker, about how we're doing as a church?
I think a part of the work of Dr. Watkins is to provide to CNBC that kind of data emphasis, although he, like the rest of us, has a challenge getting data, but there's something I think he can say that the rest of us cannot say about that.
That is a great segue to present Dr. Watkins, founder and CEO of the Science Policy Action Network. Tell us about the work that you're doing, how you became engaged with the CME Church, and what you're finding at this time.
Yeah, so, I myself personally are doing a lot of work in regards to this and a wide variety of other things. I would be remiss if I did not mention that I am also a candidate for United States Congress. And it's a responsibility of leadership to bring together resources and guidance to really have us pull through these very, very challenging times. I'm also the coordinator for the CME Church on the Conference of National Black Churches. And we are doing some really, really amazing work. As Senior Bishop Reddick was just describing, we are gathering data from all of our churches. There are over thousands of churches in the CME Church, and we have put together some elegant surveys that collect data in regards to participation of churches, how many vaccination sites have been set up, how many vaccinations have actually gone out, and we're working on getting that data back. And so we have an amazing opportunity to really see what individuals, churches are doing on the ground. And that is going to be a huge, huge piece of information for the Conference of National Black Churches. But that is something that we are doing at this moment. We've got that survey put together, and we're going to send it out. And that data is going to be really, really exciting. And I'm certain the work that the CME Church has done is just going to be really, really impressive, because I know that people have been doing a lot of work in that. And so the data will support that.
So have we made some gains and strides? Are people still hesitant, misinformed? As much information that has been shared, Are you finding that we still have a long way to go, or we've made some great strides?
So yes and no. So both of those situations are true. I just have to just point out that we've never really been in a situation like this. And so it's kind of hard to gauge where we are doing. Now, the United States compared to other countries in regards to this pandemic has performed poorly. We're one of only 6 countries in the entire world who have had deaths exceed 200,000. And I just want to really put into context where we are in regards to the Omicron. If I could I, Dr.
Please.
Mason?
Yes, please do.
I just wanted to put this timeline together because I think this is a really interesting point. So we haven't had a variant in a while. The Delta variant has been the one that has been dominant in the United States, with over 99% of all cases being the Delta variant. And so we haven't really heard of a variant of concern in a while. But then comes on the scene the Omicron variant. And we started seeing the first sample of the Omicron variant in November 8th. And that was from a sample collected in South Africa. And then November 9th, we've seen it in Botswana. November 24th, it appeared in Hong Kong. November 25th, Israel. November 28th, Australia. November 30th, the Netherlands. November 1st, was the first time we saw it in the United States in San Francisco. And I just wanted to point that out to show how fast this virus can spread and this variant can spread. And you only see a variant if there is some kind of advantage that it has over the circulating dominant form. And so mutations arise all the time. So long as you have people who are not vaccinated, you are going to have mutations and you're going to produce variants. And most of these mutations we don't notice. But when you do notice it, it is either because the virus transmits better or the virus is able to evade some component of our immune system. And so I just really want to stress this is, very, very serious. And you can see how fast it spreads. And it's not just a national issue, but it is an international issue. So oftentimes we kind of ask people, are you vaccinated? And, we see situations in the NFL where people are faking it. And we kind of shrug our shoulders like it's not a big deal. But I really stress that it is a huge deal. You have about 860 deaths a day. It's just a huge matter. So
860 deaths with the Omicron variant?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay, I just wanted to be clear. Right.
In general,
COVID-19,
right?
I see. So then, is there a reason to be concerned with it spreading to the country? As you've indicated, it's not widespread yet, and there are many people who are vaccinated and boosted. What should we be thinking? Our church has issued and declared that we should try to go back into our sanctuaries and practicing all safety precautions. So from a medical perspective, are we still okay? Are we good for now? Any precautions additionally that we need to take? And then I'm going to pivot back to Bishop Reddick.
Now, I'll never say in the midst of a pandemic that has claimed over 700,000 lives that we're good. Yeah. What I will say is make sure people are vaccinated. Don't let them off the hook. I don't agree with this notion that it's an individual decision, because your individual decision can get a family member of mine or myself sick and could kill me. So it ain't just an individual decision. The virus don't think it's an individual decision. As it hops from person to person, it's ridiculous to think it's an individual decision. That's my personal and professional belief.
And the reason I asked that question, because in the entertainment and sports arena, these stadiums are packed to the rafters, like the SEC game. The Bulldogs lost yesterday, but that's another issue, another story. The Falcons today, and other kind of, it's like we are back to some sense of normalcy, and now the Omicron variant. But let me, you think about that, and Bishop Reddick, what do you foresee as our senior bishop, and certainly I'm sure you're gauging and watching the information on the variant, but we are still moving forward ahead with in-service worship at this point.
Yes, we are. I attended worship this morning around Tyler, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
I think a part of our emphasis is that we would also wear our masks and social distance
right
as we are worshiping. And we were singing this morning, and many of the people, not everybody had their mask on, but most of us did.
Okay.
And we were actually doing our singing with our masks on. So we can still worship in the midst of the pandemic.
In the midst of the pandemic. Very good. Very good. Dean Parker, as a member of an officer of the Connectional Young Adult Ministry, but also as a dean at one of our premier schools, Miles College, what are you all doing? How are things going there in terms of the of vaccination, practicing safety protocols, et cetera? How have things been for Miles College?
Well, first of all, I just want to pause and give honor to our president, Dr. Bobby Knight, and her administrative cabinet. The institution has been following all guidelines as prescribed for institutions of higher education by the CDC. But one of the things that we've been doing here as an institution, we've mandated that all students must be required to be vaccinated.
Okay.
And if there are students who refuse to be vaccinated, and most of those who refused noted that that was because of religious beliefs, we provided a process for them to go through this form and vetting, if you will, to determine if in fact that their religious views would keep them from becoming vaccinated. And there has been maybe a handful of cases where we've honored those requests and then given them the option to have hybrid learning. I also want to just note that we thank God for the federal government, which allocated funds for institutions of higher learning to really step up their games in creating preventative measures, but also making sure that we had technology in place to accommodate those kinds of students, and even students who may contract the virus and wish to continue their education process, but they can do it from a quarantine space on campus and or from their homes. Another thing that we've done here at the institutions, we provided testing for all of our students and staff here on the campus for free. They can come every day, once a week. We just wanted to make sure that testing was something provided on the campus and available to everyone who wishes to participate. And of course, all the other things, physical distancing, wearing of masks, mandatory, whether you're in the classroom, on the football field, in the cafeteria, masks are required, period. So that's just a few things.
Yeah. So, Dr. Watkins, and you mentioned that you're running for Congress. Tell us a little bit about that, please, sir.
Yes. So here in North Carolina, we've got the 6th Congressional District, which is Wake County, Durham County, and Orange County. It's the Research Triangle Park, and we're running to represent that area. We've had a 32-year service person decide that they were going to retire, meaning that they've been in office since I was 4 years old. We're very excited about that opportunity. We have an amazing research infrastructure in the Research Triangle Park, and our plans are to work to double the capacity of that, provide jobs, and so on and so forth, and also to contribute to the research that has played a huge role in this pandemic. The young woman who invented the Moderna and Pfizer vaccines, through her leadership at the National Institutes of Health and National Institutes of Allergies and Infectious Disease, came out of UNC. Her and I were in graduate school together. So that's just the type of stuff that goes on there, but also around the country. But we really have to stay on top of that. We really have to make sure our research and medical infrastructure is supported, funded, our schools, our HBCUs, we have to make sure that they're funded to the highest level because that's the way we get out of these things. Our only way of getting out of these things, predicting these things, and dealing with them is making sure that we have the talent and the resources available. So we need to make sure we can keep doing that. So that's just a little bit on our campaign. Check out our website, richardlwatkins.com, to learn more.
Well, I certainly wanted to have you share that. Do you know Dr. Everett Ward in North Carolina? Have you met him yet?
I can tell you that I don't think off the top of my head, but I'm writing a note down, and by tomorrow evening, I will know Dr. Everett.
Good person to know. Very politically active. Well, you know, the whole point today was really to continue to urge members of the CME Church to get protected, you know, to get vaccinated, and the church has done an excellent job in terms of providing information. Bishop, Senior Bishop, are you requiring all delegates to be vaccinated? I don't want to put you on the spot, but since I have you here, is that a requirement, or is it something being discussed for the
you can put me on the spot.
Thank you.
I know when I come to your session, I might be on the spot. We have talked about it, and I think we'll have to talk about it some more.
Okay.
We are also trying to watch what the Ohio state requirements are going to be, since we'll be meeting in the General Conference in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
But we are looking at it from legal angles as well as from the moral angles.
Yeah. I was in New Orleans yesterday and attending an event. They would not even let you in the hotel if you could not produce your card as well. So I, just thought it was real interesting that a hotel would take that stance as well. But anything else that we need to share? I know I'll give you the last word, Senior Bishop. Dr. Watkins, so you're working with the CNBC, is that the correct name? Okay.
Yes,
other denominations obviously are involved as well.
Yes.
Good, very good. And I know there's an upcoming conference, I think, in a week or two. Will that be a topic of conversation during that time as well? Are you aware? Okay. Very good, very good. Dr. Watkins, just give us a few final thoughts about this moment that we're in right now and the seriousness of it from your lens and from your perspective.
Yeah, these are very difficult and very challenging times. And I would also remind each and every one of us to kind of exercise, a little bit of tenderness and care when dealing with the public and dealing with the community, because although they may be reluctant to get vaccinated, just keep in mind that none of us have ever dealt with a situation like this. You mentioned, football and so on and so forth. In the United States and globally, cases and deaths are trending upwards as we approach the winter months. The virus is showing signs that it will continue to mutate, and it will continue to produce variants. And the pattern shows that these variants only emerge when they have some sort of advantage, such as they are able to transmit easier, or they're able to evade our immune system. So these are very, very challenging times, and we're all going to have to work together. And if we work together, we'll get through it. But if we don't, I don't really see a clear way through it. The only way through it is together. And I know that sounds cliche, but cliche emerge out of repeated examples of it proving true. The only way that we're going to get through this is together. So we have to work through it together, get rid of misinformation. Misinformation is rampant, and we don't have that under control. If you're looking for sources of information out there, I would say the most reliable source that you can go through, regardless of the state you live in, or your universities. Public institutions, your tax dollars have already went towards funding them. They always have the greatest information regarding the virus, regarding the pandemic, regarding the vaccines. So check those out. And thank you so much. These are very serious times, but we'll get through them together.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Dean Parker, tell us, give us your closing thoughts. And you also shared a flyer that you want to talk about as well. So I'll give you an opportunity to share your closing thoughts and how things with the Connectional Young Adult Ministry since I last had you all on the show.
Absolutely. I'll start there. First of all, we're excited that the Young Adult Ministry of the Christian Methodist Episcopal Church, under the leadership of our president, Tiffany Thompson, as well as, of course, our General Secretary, Dr. Crutchfield, is moving fast, and we are doing the work. Dr. Mason just shared a flyer of our upcoming event entitled the Road to Cincy, which we will be offering general conference training in a series of videos and live forums for young adult delegates, orderlies, and general attendees for the 2022 General Conference. And the series will be introduced at the conclusion of this vaccination campaign we are currently in. The topics will include resolutions, a study on the Book of Discipline, tech systems such as clickers, recognitions of Robert's Rules of Order, and we will also involve our Episcopal leaders, general secretaries, aspirants, strong clergy, and lay persons and young adults throughout the connection who will lead us during these training sessions. So we want to encourage you to go ahead and lock in those dates, save the dates. We will be launching this in December. You will see more information on our social media platform as well as the Connectional Church. In closing, as it relates to our discussion, I just want to piggyback off of what has already been said. It is up to us as faith leaders, community leaders, to encourage our brothers and sisters to do what is right, to do what is just. And I've been sharing this for a while now. It's an excerpt from Martin Luther regarding the Black Plague that was located in Luther's work, volume 43 on page 142. He says, "I shall ask God mercifully to protect us. Then I shall fumigate, help purify the air, administer medicine, and take it. I shall avoid places and persons where my presence is not needed in order not to become contaminated and thus inflict and pollute others and so cause their death as a result of my negligence. If God should wish to take me, he will surely find me, and I have done what is expected of me, and so I am not responsible for either my own death or the death of others. If my neighbor needs me, however, I shall not avoid place or person, but will go freely as stated above." See, this is such a God-fearing faith because it is neither brash nor foolhardy and does not tempt God. I'm convinced that this statement given by Martin Luther many years ago is relevant to us today. If God created man, God created medicine, surely God has given us the know and wherewithal to do what is right and to do what is just. And if our leaders are telling us to do certain things to not just save each other's lives, but to save our own lives, certainly we should be doing what is recommended.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. And thank you also for, I think, the creativity of creating these sessions for training. I'm assuming these are going to be webinars that you mentioned.
They would be, yes, sir. They would be in a webinar format. We will stream them on social media platforms, but they will be engaging. So you will be able to ask questions and give information and inquire about things that you really want to ask as you prepare yourself for this 2022 General Conference.
Great, fantastic. Looking forward to that. Senior Bishop, as you come to share your closing thoughts, also tell us about the upcoming 151st Founders Day celebration on Saturday, December the 18th, what we can expect, and anything else that you want to share as we prepare to close out.
What I realized I should have done earlier but did not was be more informative about what CNBC is. We talk about working with the Conference of National Black Churches, but it includes at the present active membership from 6 national or international Black denominations, including the Progressive National Baptist Convention and the National Baptist Convention USA Incorporated, and it includes the National Baptist Convention of America International Incorporated, and includes the AME Zion Church and the AME Church and the Church of God in Christ, as well as the CME Church. We are all working together with these vaccination thrusts. Each of these denominations has 4 members on the board of directors. So the other members from the CME Church are Bishops Thomas Brown and Bishop Marvin Frank Thomas and Mrs. Faye Crowder Phillips and myself. And of course, our president actually is a CME in Dr. Jacqueline Lane Burton. Our president, our chair of the board rather, is Dr. W. Franklin Richardson. I'd want to give credit to the fact that that organization has been around now almost 40 years in one form or another, seeking to work together as denominational groups in things that we can do together for a national relevant ministry in the world and in the nation. I would want to say about the question you raised, and let me thank Dr. Watkins, and let me thank our young adults, because they are really the reason we're here today. And I'm trying to say that and get out of the way for the young adults that you also have coming on so they can say whatever they need to say. We didn't say it in the introduction, but Dr. Richard Watkins is himself a PhD and virologist and a member of St. Joseph CME Church of Chapel Hill, North Carolina.
Well, you've answered my question. I was about to ask. I was feeling CME vibes, but he didn't mention it. And I said, well, maybe it'll come out. So the Lord has answered my prayer. Thank you, Senior Bishop.
And see,
we got to support Dr. Watkins. I thought you might have been a Baptist or AME Zion. So.
No. He's a CME, and he was brought to our attention by Mrs. Faye Crowder Phillips.
Okay.
And we have been blessed to have him leading this movement, as he also related to the young adults. Awesome. Bishop Williamson, as you know, is our host bishop for our 151st anniversary celebration, which will be at Mother Liberty. And you know, when he's involved in something, it's going to be lively, it's going to be full, it's going to cover all the bases. And we had a conversation yesterday morning as he talked about all that's going to be in it. And you know, he knows how to make that happen. I can't tell you all that's going to be in it.
Right.
I'm a fellow who does not have the same kind of facilities and creativity of a lot of other people. I'm pretty flat myself, but I've learned to appreciate the creativity they bring. And you know, Bishop Williamson, just thinking about our anniversary a year ago, how he can make things bright, and we will be glad for all that's a part of it when it is over. So I look forward to that event myself within the next 2 weeks. But thank you again for receiving us today. And I want to get out of the way of the rest of what you have coming.
Well, this is it. This panel was just to target. We've had the conversation. I had the youth earlier. And so I'm delighted that you all took some time out to share and to join. And Dr. Watkins, we'll be looking forward to having you back. When is the election? Next November?
Yeah, so that'll be the general election. We have a primary coming up in March. We're one of the only Democratic safe districts in North Carolina, and so there is a lot at stake. It'll be the future of the Democratic Party, everything like that. So that'll be in March, and the general election, again, it's a safe district, will be in November. So 22 March November.
I'm going to reach out to you and share. Everett Ward, Dr. Ward was president of St. Augustine, but he was also the chair of the Democratic Party for North Carolina. Very well connected. He came to Georgia to help Senator Raphael Warnock and provide key strategy. We need you in Congress. We got to get behind you. So we're going to do what we can. Senior Bishop.
Well, then let me please say thank you to our Young Adult Ministry Director, Mrs. Armisha Walker Harrison, and to our President, Ms. Tiffany Thompson, and to Ms. Toya McQueen, our Secretary, who was particularly involved in this particular project. And I wish I could call every name, but they brought a creativity and a way of emphasizing it with youthful voices that we were not able to bring. And I really think that they brought a lot to our denomination in these weekly presentations that involved dialogues, that involved other persons witnessing, screenshots of people saying what they had to say. And they said it in their own unique voices. Thank you very much, Young Adult Council.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Dr. Watkins, Dean Parker, Senior Bishop Lawrence Reddick. Let me also just mention, I didn't have this previously, but there are ways to give to support the Connectional Youth Ministry in their effort to send our wonderful leaders that you saw today, some of whom you saw, to support their trip to the General Conference. And you certainly can go on their website or contact Reverend Cece at the CMEchurch.org. We thank you all and look forward to your joining on next week. I'm going to close out today with this video from a brief video from the CDC. Thank you all again. God bless you. And
thank you.
Have a good evening.
COVID-19 vaccines are safe and effective at protecting you from COVID-19, especially severe illness and death. Vaccinated people are far less likely to be hospitalized or die because of COVID-19, including the Delta variant. COVID-19 has a much harder time spreading in a vaccinated population. When more people are vaccinated, we are all better protected against COVID-19. Even if you're young and healthy, it's still important to get vaccinated. Vaccines can help end this pandemic. To get the most protection, make sure you get all recommended doses of a COVID-19 vaccine. Getting vaccinated helps protect you and others from COVID-19.